And if you could start to integrate the utility value of AI into your business day, all of a sudden it opens up and frees you in, phenomenal ways. For example, also having time to think about how to grow your company in a better way, right? It takes away some of those monotonous tasks. I think it will also alter, I'm sure you agree, I'm curious what you think, Kerry. It's going to alter the job landscape in the future.
You're listening to Kerry Lutz's Financial Survival Network, where you get valuable information you just can't find anywhere else. To thrive in today's trying times, you need the Financial Survival Network, now more than ever. Go to financialsurvivalnetwork.com and get your free newsletter and gift. Financial Survival Network, now more than ever.
And welcome. You are listening to and watching the Financial Survival Network. I'm your host, Kerry Lutz. Well, AI, that is the buzzword. I mean, that is the biggest trend taking place now. If you don't understand that, you will very shortly, because everything is going to change. The way you do things, the way you work, if you work at all. In the next 18 months, you will not recognize where the world is heading. You think it's happening now. It's going to happen so much faster because the pace of change and acceptance is accelerating almost beyond our or your ability as a human to comprehend and to actually see it. And we've got an expert on the topic with us, Marc Beckman. Marc, it's great to have you on the show. You've got a book out, Some Future Day. You've written a number of books, professor at NYU. We're really thrilled to have you on the show. So, AI, I guess we should just start with a definition of it, because I think, Marc, that the definition of AI has changed greatly over the years. We used to call the emergence of AI big data, but we're so past big data now. How would you define AI?
Well, first, Kerry, thank you so much for having me on your show. It's really great to meet you. It seems like we have a lot in common, so that's cool. I think that rather than using like tech terms and complicated definitions, what I'd like to do is speak in plain English. And today, there are really two great ways that artificial intelligence can be used for people to improve their career, improve their families, and improve their communities. The first part of AI is generative AI, where artificial intelligence can be used effectively to create new content. So think in terms of if you or anybody in your audience wants to create a movie, create a beautiful visual, photorealistic image, write a song, write a speech, that's generative AI. And it's really simple. People can text in what they're looking to accomplish. For example, I want to create a gorgeous photograph in the spirit of Steven Spielberg that features Kerry and his #1 show. And then AI will kick it off. It's just a simple text prompt. That's the first piece. The second piece is really where you started, Kerry. Like, AI is so strong today, in many ways strongest as it relates to data analytics. It's unlike anything before. But don't think in terms of hard data for the people who are listening. Think in terms of easy data where it can make your life easier. So think in terms of if you want to compare two documents, if you want to take a look at the contents of a transcript, if you want to see the best way to sell a particular item and look at consumer purchasing habits, artificial intelligence can be used to basically scour that data and provide the user with an output that's applicable in real time.
Okay, so and it's the usefulness of this, right? I look at it, I use it all the time now. Show notes for my interviews, I will use it to generate questions. When I'm dealing with corporate clients, I will take their latest press release and have it summarize it, tell me what the pertinent parts are, the most important, and questions to ask in a potential interview. And then once we've done the interview, I'll have the AI transcribe it and then create show notes from that and YouTube summaries and all that. The usefulness of it, I look at it, it makes me like 10x to 100x more effective than I would be without it.
For sure. There are several efficiencies that come into play through the use of artificial intelligence, Kerry. When I talk about efficiencies, I focus in on two areas. Number one, money. Suddenly things could become a lot less expensive. So if you want to use artificial intelligence to shoot an ad campaign, to create a set design, to create original packaging design, no longer do you need to hire that slick advertising agency for $250,000. It really does create amazing value for the user, and it's not complicated to do. The other thing, as you're talking about, is time efficiency. So there are so many tasks that all of us have in a day. And if you could start to integrate the utility value of AI into your business day, all of a sudden it opens up and frees you in phenomenal ways. For example, also having time to think about how to grow your company in a better way, right? It takes away some of those monotonous tasks. I think it will also alter, I'm sure you agree, I'm curious what you think, Kerry, it's going to alter the job landscape in the future.
Oh, for sure. For sure. Yeah, that concept, though, like, of being able to become more effective in everything you do, I find that so intriguing because we all have our blocks. We all have things that, that you've been programmed in, you're disorganized, you're a procrastinator, all these things. With AI, all those blocks for me, Mark, are gone.
Yeah, I totally agree. In my book, it's called, as you mentioned, Some Future Day, How AI is Going to Change Everything. It's really built, Kerry, for like the beginner audience, those people who are intellectual and curious, but I take them through so many business sectors and show them, if they're in the creative industries like fashion, art, music, entertainment, if they're in finance, which I know a lot of your audience is focused on, if they're in military and they're thinking about new war tools that they could use, like drones. In every chapter of my book, I break down for the user what kinds of tools they could use today. They literally list all of the different tools that they could access today, different apps, different brand names, etc., and how they want to use it to improve or enhance, let's say, careers. And those efficiencies are unlocked in a matter of moments, and it's easy to do. You had mentioned at the opening of the show that I teach at NYU, which is true, and I'm proud of that. I was able to have an entire class who is at the MBA level. They don't have experience with regards to design. They were able to use some of the tools that I provided for them. They're all listed in the book, to create new logos, new brand names, primary and secondary packaging for different items like cosmetics and even a whiskey, and then to stand up an ad campaign. And they did it literally in a matter of days. So this is a class with no experience. They had zero experience. Somebody like you who's using it already, you could probably unlock the value in just a matter of minutes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, I'm going to get the book because the tools are coming out faster than I can keep up with them. And like you were talking about, not your class being MBAs and not design people, I'm kind of the same way. Recovering attorney, I'm more into the written word than the visuals and the ability to be able to just do these things is, for me, as being a very kind of not lateral thinker, but a thinker, not a creative type, really unlocks new realms.
That's totally right. It's pretty exciting also. And the other thing that we're seeing is value creation in industries where dreamers can take advantage now and stand up new businesses through the use of AI. So in the book, I even look at like the medical industry and highlight some of the advances that are coming in. Another area that we never thought would be disrupted would be thinking in terms of doctors, right? Where now we can have a quicker and better diagnosis of disease with a tool like Google's Amy. We can have recommendations from metahuman trained specialists in real time. We could get on telemed and get a real answer from a doctor that you'd like to meet with vis-a-vis AI. I know that sounds a little haunting and spooky, but they do have the data and the information, and that could eventually go all the way through, I think, the next level where if it's an illness that requires some sort of a medication or a prescription, those medications will be accessed quickly through the meta-human doctor, and then it's just delivered to your home.
The ability to input every single medication that you're taking, all right, and come up with every potential side effect. And, it could potentially save lives. One thing I'm concerned about, though, is, with the ability to view everybody's bio online, and they take it with criminals, and then you get the Minority Report pre-crime situation where I think we're going to reach the point where AI will just know if you're going to be a criminal or not. Now, whether it can do anything to stop it, to help you avoid that fate, but we're coming to that day, aren't we, Mark?
I don't know, Kerry. Like, I hope that humanity is better than creating like a thought police scenario. That's definitely scary. But, I'm not sure. I think the predictive nature of AI is real. One way that we see that over and over again is with facial recognition. Kerry, in communist China right now, they boast having the strongest facial recognition software on the planet. And it's slowly moving over to places like, where you are in Florida. The Miami Police Department is quietly using facial recognition software. And where I am in New York City, the same thing. So yeah, the predictive nature of AI coupled with your background and who you are, it might become a little Minority Report. I hope the thought police don't come.
Yeah, and it is kind of frightening. Do you remember that show that was on TV? It's really the last real drama TV show I ever watched, called Person of Interest.
I do. That was a great show, actually.
And it was really ahead of its time by a little bit, wasn't it?
Entirely. But this is where, like you had mentioned before, or you hinted towards it, artificial intelligence is a tool, right? AI isn't going to destroy the world. Humans destroy the world. You might not agree.
Good at it. We don't need much help on that count.
That is for sure. But look, guns don't shoot on their own, and AI isn't going to launch a nuclear weapon without humans controlling it. Algebra is not what we need to fear. It's humans. So yes, granted, AI is going to stand up in ways that are movie-like with robots and, new types of weapons and new types of security systems.
Yes, for sure.
AI is going to be the underpinning in every aspect of society for sure. But humans need to get a grip of themselves right now. Make sure that if they use this, they use it responsibly, just the way that we would apply to our own children.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. And but the potential for the benefits of it, you combine that. So one of the concepts we talked about initially was combining AI and crypto, and they just naturally fit together. Because that ability with the blockchain to really, immutability of the blockchain combined with AI, it's really going to bring out changes.
Yeah, that's for sure. And I'm pretty bullish about it. President Trump's new executive order surrounding both artificial intelligence and cryptocurrency sends a signal to the marketplace. Predictably, these two new emerging technologies can become the biggest percentage growth categories across all business sectors over the next 4 to 5 years. Percentage growth, right? I think that's a fair assumption. He's going to really unlock American ingenuity. I know on Friday of this week, he has a roundtable surrounding cryptocurrency happening in Washington, D.C. But there's no doubt about it. AI and cryptocurrency are connected. And, hopefully what President Trump and his team are planning to do is to put the United States back at the front, back at the forefront with both technologies, where we can attract investment dollars, reattract some of the best talent on the market, and unlock American ingenuity to stand up new businesses and tons of growth.
Yeah. Don't you find it interesting? The guy is 78 years old. All right, I'm 67. I'm a techie. I always have been my whole life, but he hasn't been a techie per se. But, he's always been open to new technologies to make money on. And he's now leading the world in crypto, arguably, right?
That's for sure, Kerry. But I believe it. I mean, if you think about it, the first campaign in 2015, he was groundbreaking through the use of technology. I talk about this actually in my book as well, where he leveraged social. He was really, truly the first presidential candidate to leverage social media to the extent that he did. And one might argue, actually, I'm really curious what you think, Kerry. I argue in my book that at that moment in time, President Trump transformed the way we as people take in content. He allowed for us to become accustomed to and actually enjoy sound bites of information vis-a-vis social media. And since then, everything has gone, not just in politics, but everything has gone that way. So I'm curious, would you give him the credit, or it's problematic, right? Like
no, I mean, he's a genius marketer.
He's transformed the way we communicate.
Genius marketer. And being a marketer, you're always seizing on new ways and new techniques to get your message out there. I would say that the 2016 campaign was as consequential as the 1960 Nixon-Kennedy campaign, which really was the first campaign that relied heavily on television, mass media, maybe like the Roosevelt first campaign with the radio. It was transitional. And that 2016 campaign was transitional, but the 2024 campaign, even more so than the 2016 campaign.
Yeah, I agree. I couldn't agree with you more. And what I talk about in the book is this iron triangle. I talk about this in business a lot, where the iron triangle consists of three emerging technologies: artificial intelligence, cryptocurrency, and social media. But what's their value, right? So when you start to think about applying that to your career or your business, the AI allows for content generation, right? You could stand up a new business, visuals, digital assets, etc. On the crypto side, you're giving the new business the ability to be paid and to pay in real time and the way that one might want to on a global scale. And finally, on the social media piece, you're permitted now to market or promote this new business in ways that allow for you to compete with the legacy businesses. So going back to, I call it the age of imagination. Think in terms of the creatives that want to use artificial intelligence for, to create a new fashion brand, to create a new movie, a new book, a new song. All of a sudden, when they couple that with superior promotional work on social media and
right,
an advertising industry and beyond, it could be pretty powerful.
Oh, we're in a new world here. There's no two ways about it. Hey, when you're looking at like a student comes to you and says, I'm not sure what to do. I'm not sure how to position myself for the future and what I should be looking at. What do you tell that person, Mark?
Yeah, that's a great question. So technology is the underpinning for all of Gen Alpha. It permeates every computer science and engineering. Think in terms of marketing and content creation, gaming, and beyond. So for me, I think America will really take a step forward if that next generation gets involved at the core. Engineering. I think with engineering, it provides American businesses with long-term. Think about the guts. Like Amazon really started because their infrastructure on the tech side was superior to start. It wasn't really about a book company. It was really the infrastructure that Bezos created. And I'd love to see Americans in college get into the engineering side of technology to stand up superior products that, regardless of whether they're in fashion or sports, entertainment, or beyond, it's the infrastructure of those products that can outlast the competition worldwide.
Yeah. All right. Well, this is all fascinating. We're definitely going to have you on again. You kind of remind me, I'm trying to remember the name of the book from way back when. I can't remember it now. It was a seminal book on, vision, future casting. The book goes back to like the 60s or 70s, but it kind of reminds me of that. So I'll think of it. It was like a book that everybody read at the time, and, so everything in it was wrong, but it made you look at the future and think about how things are going to be different. If we were having a conversation and we were both serfs on the farm in the 1600s or the 1400s in Europe during the before the Renaissance, we wouldn't really have any question, because every day was just like the day before, and tomorrow was going to be more of the same. And yeah, you had seasons and you had harvests and all that, but life was always the same. We're at the point now where every day is going to be different than the day before, and that's a good thing.
Yeah.
Anyway, just tell us where we find your work, how we get.
Thank you. Thank you so much. So the book is Some Future Day, How AI is Going to Change Everything. It's available on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Target, every major bookseller. And if people want to find me on social media, it's at Marc Beckman, MarcBeckman, at Marc Beckman.
And we can find it wherever fine books used to be sold. Hey, if you've got a question for Marc or myself, shoot me an email, kl@kerrylutz.com. And we'll have a link to the book and Marc's site in the show notes to this interview on financialsurvivalnetwork.com. All we ask is sign up for your free newsletter, like over 70,000, I think we're up to 75,000 of your fellow FSN community members have. Marc, great having you on the show. We will definitely talk to you again soon.
Kerry, thank you so much. It's really a pleasure meeting you, truly.
Likewise.
Thanks for listening to Kerry Lutz's Financial Survival Network, your solution to today's trying times. For the latest, go to financialsurvivalnetwork.com. Financial Survival Network, now more than ever.